What if the greatest miracle of your life is not waiting somewhere in the distant future, but is standing right in front of you, held back only by one thing, your belief that it can actually happen? What if the universe is constantly whispering, just trust, just believe, and I will open doors you never knew existed? There are moments in life when everything feels heavy, when the world seems to push against you, when your desires look impossible. But the truth is this: nothing is impossible to the one who trusts the unseen. Faith is the invisible hand that moves the visible world. Faith is the quiet power that bends reality toward your intention. Faith is the energy that transforms a simple thought into the life you are destined to live. And today you are about to remember that your faith, your inner knowing, has always been strong enough to move mountains. There comes a point in every person's journey when they realize that the external world is only a reflection of the internal one. The mountain outside is always a projection of the mountain inside. And the moment you shift your inner state, your beliefs, your expectations, your faith, the mountain begins to crumble. You are not here to struggle your way through life. You are here to create, to manifest, to rise above every limitation placed before you. Every challenge you have ever faced has simply been an invitation to activate the deeper power within you. And that power is faith. Faith is not a weak, fragile idea. It is not wishful thinking or blind hope. Faith is the unwavering recognition that what you desire already exists in the non-physical world, and your belief magnetizes it into form. Faith is a force, real, energetic, measurable through the changes it creates in your life. When you believe with absolute certainty, the universe bends in your favor. When you trust instead of doubt, things begin to align faster than you could ever plan. When you stand firm in your inner knowing, you become unstoppable. Think about it. Every miracle in history, every innovation, every healing, every transformation began with someone believing something that others could not see. Faith is the birthplace of miracles. Faith is the blueprint of manifestation. Faith is the silent architect behind every dream that has ever come true. And your faith, yes, yours, holds the same power. So as you listen today, I want you to open your heart to one truth. You are far more powerful than your fears. Your belief is stronger than your doubt. The same energy that created galaxies flows through you. You were never meant to live a small, restricted life. You were designed to experience abundance, connection, purpose, and divine alignment. But all of it begins with faith. Faith changes the way you speak. Faith changes the way you show up. Faith changes your expectations. And the moment your expectations shift, your entire reality rearranges itself. You've felt this before. You've seen how one thought can spark a whole new path. And now you are ready to step into a new level of belief, a new level of trust, a new level of creation. Today, you are awakening the part of you that already knows the truth. Your faith can move mountains. Not someday, not when circumstances improve, not when you feel more confident, but right now, because the mountain was never stronger than you. The mountain was only waiting for you to realize your power, and this is the moment you reclaim it. Faith is often misunderstood. Many people think faith is something external, something given to you, something you pray for, something that appears only when life becomes easy. But real faith is not something you wait for, it is something you cultivate. It is not a feeling, it is a decision. It is not dependent on circumstances, it is what transforms circumstances. Faith is the inner knowing that your desire is already on its way, even when nothing in your physical world shows any sign of it. Faith is the recognition that the invisible world is more powerful than the visible one. Everything you see began as something unseen, and manifestation follows that same law. True faith is not loud. It doesn't need to shout or convince or prove anything. Real faith is quiet, steady, unshakable. It lives in your heart like a calm fire. It whispers, I already know what is coming. And because you know, you no longer doubt. You no longer panic. You no longer chase. Faith allows you to rest inside your desire long before it appears. But how does this invisible force work? Faith is the bridge between intention and creation. When you set a desire, you send a signal into the universe. But it is your faith that keeps the signal alive. Doubt weakens the signal. Fear interferes with it, but faith strengthens it, stabilizes it, and amplifies it until it becomes physical reality. You can desire something deeply, but without faith, the desire fades. With faith, the desire becomes inevitable. Faith also redefines possibility. When you have faith, you stop living by the limitations of your past. You stop allowing old stories, failures, or fears to shape your future. Instead, you begin to live according to your potential. Faith frees you from the belief that you must see something before you believe it. Instead, you believe it first, and then you see it. This is the essence of manifestation: believe before evidence, trust before results, know before proof. There is a profound strength that rises within a person who chooses faith over fear. Fear says, it might not happen. Faith says, it's already done. Fear creates resistance. Faith creates flow. Fear closes doors. Faith opens them. Fear makes you shrink. Faith makes you rise. When you carry faith, your entire energy shifts. You walk differently. You speak differently. You think differently. Your decisions become aligned with your highest self. Opportunities begin to appear. People show up. Synchronicities start unfolding. And this is not coincidence, this is alignment. Faith aligns you with the frequency of your desire. Faith is also deeply connected to identity. You must believe not only in the outcome, you must believe in yourself. True faith is the recognition that you are worthy of your desires, capable of receiving them, and connected to a universe that supports you. When you believe in yourself, manifestation accelerates. Faith turns you into a magnet for what you desire. And perhaps the most beautiful part of faith is this: you do not need to have everything figured out. You do not need to control the how or the when. Faith allows you to surrender the details and trust that life is organizing everything on your behalf. When you let go, you allow the universe to work. Faith is your signal to the universe: I am ready, I trust, I believe, I allow. Faith doesn't just change your circumstances, it changes you. It rewires the very foundation of your inner world. Most people try to transform their outer life while leaving their inner beliefs untouched. But the universe doesn't respond to words. It responds to vibration, to belief, to the energy you hold when no one is watching. Your outer reality is nothing more than a mirror reflecting the patterns that live inside your subconscious mind. And faith is the tool that reshapes those patterns. Think about how many limitations were taught to you before you even understood what a limitation was. You were told what was possible, what was realistic, what was safe. These ideas settled into your subconscious and began creating boundaries around your potential. But faith breaks these boundaries. Faith dissolves old programming. Faith replaces fear-based thoughts with truth-based knowing. When you believe in possibility, your subconscious begins shifting its structure. You start forming new pathways, new expectations, new emotional states, new behaviors, and those changes ripple outward into your life. Faith rewires your inner world by altering your self-image. You stop seeing yourself as someone who struggles or someone who must deserve blessings through effort. Faith reminds you that you are inherently worthy of what you desire. When your identity shifts, everything you attract also shifts. You no longer operate from lack. You no longer operate from scarcity. You begin living in the energy of someone who already has the outcome. And this is where manifestation accelerates. One of the greatest powers of faith is its ability to override doubt. Doubt is the mind's way of trying to protect you, using old stories as its evidence. But faith brings new evidence. It brings a new narrative. When doubt says, this is too big for you, faith answers, nothing is too big for the universe. When doubt whispers, what if it doesn't work? Faith responds, what if it already has? The moment your faith becomes louder than your doubt, your entire life takes a turn. Faith also trains your nervous system to operate from trust rather than stress. When you live in fear, your body becomes tense, your mind becomes chaotic, and you block the flow of creation. But when you carry faith, your energy softens. You enter a state of calm expectation. This calm attracts clarity. It attracts inspired ideas. It attracts opportunities you could not see before. Faith gives your mind permission to relax because it knows the outcome is already secure. Another beautiful effect of faith is that it shifts your focus. Without faith, you look at obstacles, you look at delays, you look at what isn't working. With faith, you look at possibilities, you look at signs, you look at the next step. Faith trains you to see through spiritual eyes, not physical ones. Your attention moves from what is wrong to what is becoming right. And when your inner focus changes, the world responds. You begin noticing the right people, the right moments, the right openings. Doors that were once invisible suddenly appear. Paths that looked blocked begin to clear. Faith doesn't just move mountains, it moves you into alignment with the path around the mountain. Ultimately, faith rewires your inner world because it shows you a new version of yourself, a version who trusts, a version who knows, a version who creates, a version who no longer negotiates with fear. This inner transformation is what manifests the outer one. The world changes because you changed. And that is the true miracle of faith. Every person has mountains in their life, obstacles that feel immovable, challenges that seem impossible, situations that appear too heavy to lift. But the truth is that these mountains are not the barrier, your perception of them is. A mountain is nothing more than a story the mind has reinforced over time. It looks solid because you have believed it is solid. It feels heavy because you have fed it with fear. But when faith enters the picture, the mountain begins to lose its power. The mountain principle is simple but profound. Obstacles are not real in the way you think they are. They are projections of your internal beliefs. When you change the belief, the obstacle dissolves. The mountain is not outside you, it is inside you. And because it is inside you, it can be transformed by the power within you. Many people see obstacles and immediately shrink. They think, this is too big, I can't overcome this. But this is only because they are looking at the mountain through the eyes of fear. Faith gives you a new set of eyes. When you view a mountain through faith, you don't see an impossible wall. You see an opportunity for expansion. You see a lesson. You see a chance to grow into a version of yourself you haven't met yet. Faith teaches you that the presence of a mountain is not a sign that you cannot have what you desire. It is a sign that you are on the right path. Mountains appear not to block you, but to shape you. They are invitations to rise. They push you to tap into strength you did not know you had. They force you to choose trust over fear, alignment over resistance, truth over limitation. In this way, the mountain is not your enemy, it is your teacher. When you shift your perspective, something incredible happens. The mountain starts shifting as well. You begin to notice solutions. You begin to attract divine timing. You begin to feel guided. And soon, what once looked like a dead end becomes a doorway. Faith opens that door. Faith reveals the path that fear could never see. One of the greatest illusions of obstacles is the belief that you must climb them alone. But faith reminds you that you are supported by a universe far more powerful than your circumstances. You are not pushing a mountain with your own strength. You are aligning with a higher force that makes the impossible possible. When your belief is stronger than your fear, the universe moves on your behalf. Sometimes mountains move slowly. Other times they disappear overnight. But the timeline doesn't matter. What matters is that your faith remains steady. The moment you stop giving the mountain your fear, it loses its weight. The moment you stop feeding it with doubt, it loses its height. And the moment you believe you can move it, the universe responds. The mountain principle reminds you of one truth: obstacles are illusions created by limited thinking. They feel real until you activate faith. Then they melt away like shadows under light. Your faith is the light. Your belief is the power. Your alignment is the force that moves the mountain. Faith is powerful, but like any inner muscle, it grows stronger through consistent practice. You don't build unshakable belief by accident. You build it by choosing it every single day. Your daily habits become the foundation that supports your manifestation energy. The more you nurture faith, the more natural it becomes. Faith becomes the default state of your mind, the background energy of your life, the lens through which you see the world. When faith becomes natural, miracles become inevitable. One of the most transformative daily practices is visualization. When you close your eyes and see your desire as if it is already done, you activate the same neural pathways that would fire if the manifestation had already arrived. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between imagination and reality. This is why visualization is such a powerful tool, because it convinces your inner world that the outcome is already present. When you live with this inner conviction, the outer world must align. Spend a few minutes each day seeing your desire clearly, as if you are living it, feeling it, embodying it. Another essential practice is affirmation, not empty repetition, but emotionally charged, belief-filled statements that reinforce your truth. Affirmations are not meant to convince the universe. They are meant to convince your subconscious. When you declare, "I trust the unseen forces guiding my life," you are sending a command to your inner world. When you say, "I believe in my worthiness," you are rewriting old scripts. When you repeat, "Everything I desire is already forming," you are aligning your vibration with the energy of manifestation. These words rewire your emotional state and shift your frequency to match the reality you want to create. Letting go is another powerful daily discipline. Letting go does not mean giving up. It means releasing the tight grip you have on how things should unfold. It means trusting the divine timing that governs all creation. When you cling to the outcome, you restrict the flow. When you surrender the details, you create space for the universe to work. Every morning, remind yourself, "I release control. I trust the process." This simple affirmation releases resistance and opens the path to your desires. Gratitude is also a key practice for strengthening faith. Gratitude shifts your attention from what's missing to what's already present. And whatever you focus on expands. When you appreciate where you are, you raise your vibration into a state of abundance. When you celebrate even the smallest signs of progress, you reinforce the belief that you are moving in the right direction. Gratitude is a magnet for blessings. When you live in appreciation, you signal to the universe, "I am ready for more." Silence and stillness are equally important. Faith thrives in quiet spaces where you can hear your inner guidance. When you sit in stillness, even for a few minutes, you reconnect with your spiritual center. You reconnect with the infinite wisdom within you. In silence, you remember that you are supported. You remember that you are guided. And this remembrance nourishes your faith like nothing else. Taking inspired action is another practice that strengthens faith. When you act on the nudges you feel, those intuitive whispers, you demonstrate trust. You show the universe that you are ready. Every small step you take activates the energy of momentum. Each action, no matter how minor, sends a signal, "I believe in my desire enough to move toward it," and the universe responds to that belief. Finally, speak your desires with confidence. Speak as someone who already lives the reality they want. Speak as someone who is certain, not someone who is hoping. Your words shape your vibration, and your vibration shapes your world. When you speak from faith, you live from faith, and when you live from faith, your entire life transforms. There comes a moment in every person's journey when they must decide who they are going to be. Someone who allows life to push them around, or someone who rises and shapes life from the inside out. Someone who reacts, or someone who creates. Someone who fears, or someone who believes. And this moment right now is your moment to choose. Living as a faith-fueled creator means stepping into your true identity. It means remembering that you are connected to a force far greater than any obstacle you face. It means embracing your role as a co-creator of your reality, not a victim of circumstance. When you live through the lens of faith, everything changes. You stop waiting for evidence before you believe. You stop needing approval before you act. You stop allowing the outside world to dictate your inner world. Instead, your inner world becomes the compass that leads everything else. Faith turns you into someone who walks with purpose, who speaks with conviction, who moves with certainty, even when the path is not yet visible. This is the energy that moves mountains. This is the energy that reshapes destiny. Living as a faith-fueled creator means trusting that the unseen is working in your favor. Even when nothing appears to be happening, everything is. Even when things look still, they are shifting. Even when doors look closed, new ones are forming. Faith allows you to walk confidently, even in the dark, because you know the light is within you. You no longer rely on circumstances to feel secure. You rely on your inner knowing, and that inner knowing creates the circumstances. When faith becomes your foundation, fear loses its grip. Fear may visit, but it no longer leads. Doubt may whisper, but it no longer defines your decisions. You stop questioning your worthiness. You stop bargaining with your dreams. You stop settling for less than what your soul is calling you toward. You begin to live in a state of alignment with your purpose, your intuition, your power. And in this state, you attract experiences that match your greatness. One of the most powerful transformations that happens when you embrace faith is the shift in how you see yourself. You no longer see your past as a limitation. You see it as preparation. You no longer see challenges as burdens. You see them as catalysts. You no longer see yourself as someone who hopes for miracles. You become someone who expects them. And this expectation is not arrogance. It is alignment with universal law. When you expect good, you attract good. When you expect miracles, you become a magnet for them. Living as a faith-fueled creator also means understanding that the universe responds to the energy you hold, not the words you say. If you hold the energy of unworthiness, you block your blessings. But if you hold the energy of trust, of belief, of certainty, the universe moves with precision. Life begins to unfold in ways that feel guided, timed, orchestrated. Synchronicities increase, opportunities appear, people show up, everything begins to flow. Your faith is not something fragile, it is a force. It is the compass that leads you. It is the light that guides you. It is the energy that shapes your destiny. And when you live as a creator powered by faith, you realize that nothing outside of you can stop what is meant for you. No mountain is too high, no challenge is too great, no dream is too big. Because the power to move mountains was never outside, it was always within you. So as you step forward from this moment, carry one truth in your heart. Your faith is the key to your transformation. Believe before you see, trust before you understand, walk before the path is clear. For it is your faith that creates the path. It is your faith that opens the way. And it is your faith that will move mountains on your behalf.